Type Lumina has a roster chock full of interesting characters. Rushdown, Zoning, Puppet, Lumina has an archetype for just about any fighting game player. However, all characters are not created equal. If you have a game with characters that have unique abilities or stats, some will be better than others. Type Lumina is no exception, with characters like Roa, Arcuade, and the Spin Doctor of Creative Mode, Aoko Azoyoi, having some exceptionally strong tools. Recently, there has been one character's balance that's piqued my interest, the Count of Monte Cristo. Count of Monte Cristo is interesting to me because he's got such a flashy moveset and tools for almost every situation, but is often placed near the bottom of tier lists with his fellow Fate Go characters and doesn't see much play. I can't help but ask the question, is the Count of Monte Cristo weak? That's exactly what we're gonna find out today. For a character in Melty Blood, the Count of Monte Cristo stands out with his unique design, which contrasts with his playstyle. You'd expect Monte Cristo to be a zoner with insane projectiles and all sorts of magic tricks, but he's actually quite well-rounded. He can do a little bit of everything. Monte Cristo's C normals cover an impressive amount of ground space. 2C is a great sweep, being both large and active. 5C can catch jump outs. 4C is a fantastic combo and frame trap tool, and his 3C is one of the best in the game. With Flames of Love and Hate, Monte Cristo fires a projectile that covers horizontal space. It can also be used in the air, covering a downward angle. It's quite fast, while also being a staple move in his combos. For getting out of sticky situations, Vengeful Conflagration is your standard Dragon Punch special with invincibility on the B and C versions. While Monte Cristo gets up close, he can keep the pressure up with Revenge is Mine, a unique 1-bar move that is plus on block and covers a large amount of vertical space, although it is air blockable. To top it all off, his Arc Drive, My Vengeance Never Dies, is a far-reaching command grab that comes out frame 0, up close after the Super Flash, meaning that if you're not already jumping before the move comes out, you're gonna get grabbed. Did I mention it's invincible, making it a powerful reversal tool, and since it's a grab, it beats shield and armor clean. Definitely a contender for Monte Cristo's most powerful tool. The Count of Monte Cristo is a true jack of all trades. He's got a tool for almost every situation, giving him the ability to transition from a mid-range zoning playstyle to an in-your-face rushdown mix-up playstyle. His normals dominate ground space, and he has a variety of enders that can set up tricky Okezeme situations. Top it all off with some of the best damage and meter gain in the game, and you've got quite the character. At this point, you may be asking yourself, how can a character with so many tools be weak? Well, like I said, the Count of Monte Cristo is a jack of all trades, a character that is good at everything. But jack of all trades are also masters of none, and that's no exception for the Count of Monte Cristo. Two mechanics that make Melty Blood different from other fighting games are the focus on air combat and reverse beat, the ability to cancel buttons in any order to create deadly combos or offensive pressure. The Count of Monte Cristo is lacking in both of these areas. His buttons overall are slower than average, so his reverse beat pressure isn't great, and he can't get away with things that most other characters can. This also causes issues on defense. Since his buttons are slow, it's a lot harder for Monte Cristo to challenge pressure with buttons, leading to a reliance on risky options to get himself out of difficult situations. Additionally, his jump is slower than average. This is particularly bad because having a slow jump does him no favors when trying to get off the ground, well, obviously. Something that an average character would be able to react to an anti-air with a rising jump A or other air button, Monte Cristo might just well not have enough time and get counter hit, which can be disastrous. It also doesn't help that his A and B jump normals are mediocre, leaving him with jump C as his most reliable normal that unfortunately can be countered due to its long startup. To make things even worse, his buttons are also highly committal, having a lot of recovery if whiffed. So, the Monte Cristo player always has to be mindful of what he's throwing out because he can't afford to get whiff punished. He can't afford to get whiff punished because besides his arc drive and dragon punch, he has no means of escape. His backdash covers very little space, making it easy to chase down, and the same goes for his backwards air dash. Furthermore, despite all of his options, he has no overhead or shield crush option, so it can be difficult for his high-low game to be particularly threatening without opening himself up to great risk. Monte Cristo's Rekka series, Furious Hellfire, has options that end in a high, low, and throw, which sounds great on paper, but like a lot of his tools, they are slow and reactable unless used sparingly or in creative ways. It also doesn't help that all of the enders are punishable on block, forcing Monte Cristo to spend meter to make it safe or pop Moondrive. As you can see, Monte Cristo has a wide and varied moveset at the cost of any of these tools being truly amazing. Now that we've gone through everything, we can answer the question, is the Count of Monte Cristo weak? Before I reveal my answer, I encourage you to leave your own conclusion in the comments, especially if you main the Count of Monte Cristo, as I'd like to hear how you feel about your main in their current state. Is the Count of Monte Cristo weak? In my outsider looking in opinion, yes, but not because he's bad. I can see what French Bread is going for with Monte Cristo, giving the player a load of tools to play with, but not making any of them too strong. This leaves it up to the player to learn when and where to use his tools to be effective. When to play the mid-range, when to go in, when to retreat, and when to zone. Unfortunately, I don't think it was executed perfectly, as the poor rebeat options and poor air buttons and jump speed seem a little too debilitating. Does this mean you can't or shouldn't play Monte Cristo? No, he's completely viable and you can win with him. It's just that other characters are more privileged than him and have less faults, leading to them being stronger by default. Another issue that isn't really his fault is that Ushiwakamaru and himself haven't been changed since release in December 2022, so French Bread haven't had time to tweak either character, while characters like Arcuade have gotten nothing but buffs for over a year. However, if overbuffed, I can see Monte Cristo being quite annoying to fight. If you were to buff Monte Cristo, what would you change? Despite his glaring flaws, the Count of Monte Cristo is worth checking out. It might not mean much, but he's got one of the most stylish movesets in all of Melty Blood, and with all of his tools, he's a lot easier to pick up than one would expect. He is a jack of all trades after all. I look forward to seeing what the developers do with the character in the future. What character, weak or strong, should I cover next? Please let me know in the comments, but until that time comes, bye for now.